Joining me now from the Connecticut Port Authority is the big boss himself, Michael O'Connor. Good to see you here.
Good to be seen. Appreciate the time today to get out the word of what the Connecticut Port Authority is doing today.
What exactly is the Connecticut Port Authority?
Well, the mission of the Port Authority is to grow the maritime economy in the state of Connecticut. And so we will get involved and we will collaborate with anybody, provide guidance, resources, and advocacy for anything that goes on along the waterfront. That would include recreational boating, commercial fishing, shipping, port operations, the environment, dredging. A few of those are very key components to moving the economy forward in the state of Connecticut.
We have three major ports, correct?
We have three deep water ports, we call them,
Ports, yeah.
Bridgeport, New Haven, and New London. Of course, the Connecticut Port Authority is the landlord, if you will, of the state pier, and that's leased out to the people developing the offshore wind project south of Block Island. Of course, State Pier has been in the news lately for the wind project getting stopped by the current administration. That was about a 4-week pause, but they're back in business after a court case the stay was lifted and they were allowed to proceed with their work.
What kind of products come into the ports in Connecticut?
Well, a lot of products come into New Haven that are petroleum, steel, stuff like that.
So I see the tanks.
Yep, that's why you see the tanks, and there's good connection to rail, and rail's being expanded in the Port of New Haven so that more use can be made out of that port.
And New London tends to be?
New London is leased to the wind projects right now, so for the next few years you'll see a lot of wind turbine construction go in there. And
so then those are the big tubes you see?
Those are the tower sections, and then the generator cells that they ship out to sea to put installed on the ocean.
Obviously the submarines come in there.
Submarines
Cruise
come in.
ships from occasion.
Submarines go up their own way, and the subbase is managed by somebody other than the Port Authority. The cruise ships, we've had about 12 port visits this year on medium-sized cruise ships that stop into New London.
And how about Bridgeport? What are they known for?
Bridgeport, mostly the ferry system going back and forth between Port Jefferson. We're looking to expand shipping in the state of Connecticut, try to move freight off the highways, working with partners in Bridgeport, New Haven, and New London along the Thames River to potentially move things that can be moved by barge instead of by highway. There's a lot of truck traffic on I-95, as everybody's aware, and there's more efficient ways to move our freight.
Is there any freight moved from the ports up the rivers to places like Hartford? I know back in the old days they did.
There's not, and yeah, there is a good history, and maritime history is rich in the state of Connecticut for moving freight up to Norwich. Norwich is a very big harbor at one point. We do need to work with the Army Corps of Engineers and improve the dredging in the state. So there's 30 navigation projects. It's a lot to keep track of. There's maintenance dredging going on in New Haven Harbor to restore that depth to 35 feet. Next year, the New Haven Harbor is going to get expanded to 40-foot depth, which will allow bigger ships to come in.
And what kind of products will they bring in?
That could be bulk materials, sand, salt, aggregate like that, and then petroleum products. Right now they're limited in how big the ships can be or how much they're loaded due to the water depth.
How much money are we talking about these ports? How much do they bring to the Connecticut economy?
There's different studies that have put out different numbers over different time, but my focus is on the capacity that we do have that's not being utilized, and all we can do is expand from here.
And let's talk a little bit about tourism with the ports, because you mentioned the cruise ships to New London, which is a big deal.
Tourism, there's a lot of maritime history in the state of Connecticut. There's also the ferry service I talked to get to Long Island. And then if we can expand cruise ships and work with our local partners, that would be a good thing to do for the state.
And in terms of the development of the three cities with these ports, we see a lot of investment in Bridgeport right now. Of course, the new amphitheater, and there's going to be a new hotel project. What about the other two, New London and New Haven?
Like I said, New Haven's undergoing some improvements to their port for the rail connections.
Sure.
Trying to work with the city to make best use of the property around the harbor. New London, we're always looking to do more things, not only in New London, but up the Thames River through to Norwich itself. The renovation of the state piers brought several jobs to the state pier. We were in the news recently for the closeout of the contract that rebuilt the state pier. That work actually got finished in mid-2024. Of course, when you're done with a project, there's a punch list, and then we were able to come to a compromise on payment for the work that was done against the contract requirements, and I'm glad to have that closed out.
What's on your wish list for the ports?
The wish list is make sure that we have dredging done in the places that we need it most, including up the Connecticut River. Work with people to expand what can be done along the waterways and work with the regulatory bodies to see to it that people can get permits to do the things that they want. And some businesses that aren't evident in Connecticut, that are present in Rhode Island or Massachusetts, can come here too.
Have you seen any evidence that climate change is impacting the ports at all?
Every time we touch infrastructure along the coast, we build in something for resiliency. You can see that most evident at the sub base when they renovate the piers that the submarine's attached to. They raise them up so that they're higher, so that water level changes won't impact their operation. They make them stronger so we can put things like firefighting equipment out on the piers where when they were built 100 years ago, that wasn't the case. And then they're lengthened to accommodate the newest class of submarines.
You know, for a small state, we have a lot of boat traffic.
We do.
Which is amazing. All right, Michael O'Connor from the Connecticut Port Authority. We appreciate you being on the program today.
Thank you so much.
A Connecticut automotive icon, Wayne Carini, is next.